Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to Premier League predictions and review on my YouTube channel. I know that I like to apologize for not doing my Premier League review last week because I was so busy. But today I'll be doing reviewing my Premier League predictions on Matchday 3 and also the predictions on Matchday 4, which is starting tomorrow. So yeah, I was so busy last week, but like I said this week I'll definitely do it for you guys. So yeah, if you enjoyed this series so far, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell notifications. So without further ado, let's go over my Premier League predictions and see how many points I got on match day 3. So the first game was of course Man City against Arsenal. Now I predicted 5-0 3-0 again for Man City, but unfortunately, the game the game ended 5-0. I mean, I didn't want to predict 5-0 City because for Arsenal, that would be most embarrassing, but it actually did that happen. I mean, Arsenal, if you look at the table, no goals scored, 9 conceded, bottom of the table. The same thing with Norwich, but the reason why they are in 19th is because they scored while Arsenal didn't. So that's why. That's why. But yeah, I mean Arsenal this season, like I said, before the international break, the 3 games before the international break, they will lose. They will lose to Brentford, they'll surely lose to Chelsea, and they'll lose to Man City. And then people have been telling me, "Oh, you're saying this because you're a Chelsea fan," and they were actually surprised that I said that Brentford will win. But that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, I knew Brentford would win. But but I did say that maybe after the international break, maybe Arsenal can get like maybe 3 points back and maybe scoring goals because they're in serious trouble if they don't do that against Norwich City. But I'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, 5-0 to Man City, so I got 1 point for predicting a Man City win. Now we move on into Newcastle against Southampton. Now I predicted a 2-0 win against for Southampton, but the game actually ended 2-2, which I didn't expect because Newcastle were just they've lost against West Ham. I think they've lost against I've forgotten. I've really forgotten who they lost against. But yeah, it's a draw. I think Newcastle got the first point of the season. Southampton, I think they've lost. They've where they drew to they've drawn twice and they've so that means still no wins for Southampton still, and the same thing for Newcastle. So yeah, I wanted to predict a draw, but I'm thinking no, Southampton will definitely win. The way they play against United, no, I see Southampton winning this game, but it ended 2-2. So unfortunately, no points for that game. This game, of course, Brighton against Everton. Now, I predicted a Brighton win of 2-1, but the actual score was 2-0 to Everton. And I'm actually surprised because Everton, of course, they've won against Southampton and they drew against Leech United. If you look at Brighton, they've won against who was it? Was Watford and then against Burnley. So I'm thinking, you know what, Brighton would definitely win. But I didn't give Everton enough credit because they got with Richarlison, they've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Pickford making big saves. So I should have waited for Everton to Everton win, but unfortunately I didn't. So yeah, got 0 points for that game. Now, the West Ham game against Crystal Palace. Now, of course, I predicted a West Ham win of 4-1, but it ended 2-2. And you know what? I'm pretty impressed with Crystal Palace, because even though they still have no wins, they drew against Brentford and they drew against West Ham. So, yeah, personally, I would have thought that West Ham would win because the likes of Antonio, Declan Rice, who else? Joel Bowen as well. But yeah, Crystal Palace did defend well, and they didn't want to lose um, to another London club, which of course West Ham. So yeah, West Ham's first draw of the season after getting 2 wins out of 2. So yeah. So I predicted a West Ham win, but unfortunately it ended a draw. So I got 0 points for that one. Now, let's move on into Norwich City against Leicester City. Now, for this game, I predicted a 3-0 win against Leicester City, but the game actually ended up 2-1. Now, I did say that I think that Leicester City will keep a clean sheet because they did that against Wolves, but they couldn't manage to do that against West Ham. But I did say Leicester City win because the likes of Jamie Vardy, Maddison, Kasper Schmeichel, but unfortunately, Norwich scored for the first time in their season against Leicester City. But I did say that Leicester City win because they have a better squad than Norwich City. So yeah, for this game, I got 1 point for predicting Leicester City win. Now we move on into Aston Villa against Brentford. Now, this game, I was actually surprised that I didn't go for a draw in this game. I was actually surprised because I'm thinking, you know what? No, Aston Villa will definitely win because even though they've lost against Watford, they still got Buendia and Martinez, making big saves. But, as for Brentford, yeah, they're still unbeaten in the league. One against Arsenal. What else? Drew against Crystal Palace. So for this game, I predicted a Aston Villa win because I knew it's going to be tough for Brentford, but the actual score was 1-1, and yeah. Both teams I mean, Brentford are still unbeaten, whereas for Aston Villa, they've got the first draw of the season. Yeah, they've won once, lost and drew. So yeah, so both of these teams, yeah, I could have went for Brentford, at Aston Villa draw, but I just wanted to go for Aston Villa because I knew because of Brentford and Martinez, but unfortunately got that wrong. So far got 2 points since I got the Leicester City win right and the Man City win right. Now let's move on into the big game and my club as well. Let's Liverpool against Chelsea. Now I did say that Chelsea will win 1-0, but the actual score ended 1-1. And like I said, I mean Anthony Taylor, he should never ever ever be the way of officiating the games that includes Chelsea because he has an agenda against Chelsea. He was an absolute disgrace. The VAR did well to send Anthony Taylor to look at the screen. But the only thing I will blame VAR is just that he allowed Anthony Taylor to only look at the image and not at the video. So yeah, I wouldn't really blame VAR, but Anthony Taylor himself was an absolute disgrace for sending off Reece James because he didn't hit the hand. The ball hit the knee and hit the arm. Of course, the rules say if that's denying a goal scoring opportunity, then yes, then that is definitely a penalty. But that is no way that's a red card. And I feel bad for Reece James, and so does Thomas Tuchel and the players because they had the fight with Anthony Taylor because the red card or perhaps a penalty. Like I said in my review, it is a penalty, but there is no way that's a red card. So Anthony Taylor for me should never ever ever officiate the games that include Chelsea because the more I see this happening, the more I see Chelsea losing this game. Whether it's against Arsenal or City or maybe Tottenham, these type of games we would not get 3 points. So yeah, Anthony Taylor, rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Unfortunately, got 0 points, and Anthony Taylor ruined that for me because I could have at least get 3 points or maybe 1 point, but he ruined it, Anthony Taylor, an absolute joke. Now we move on into Burnley against Leech United. Now, of course, I went for Leech United win of 4-0 because Burnley don't have a great record at their ground at Turf Moor. I think it's 17 games without a win, 5 wins and 12 draws. I mean, that's really not good for Burnley. And I said that, what, I think Leeds United will win, but it ended 1-1. I mean, Burnley, of course, like I said, they got a draw, but still no wins. And Patrick Bamford saved them because he scored a late winner for Leeds United, and that really, and I really felt sorry for the Burnley fans because they want their team to win at home for the first time since January 2020, but unfortunately that didn't happen because of Patrick Bamford's late equalizer. So yeah, it ended 1-1. So I got 0 points for that one. We move on into a London derby between Tottenham and Watford. This game, I went for Tottenham win of 3-0 because, of course, they've got a better squad. Son was playing, Harry Kane was playing, Bergwijn was playing. I think somebody else was playing as well, who I've forgotten. But it actually went 1-0. And to be honest with you, Tottenham was so lucky to beat Watford. You know, yeah, Todd was so lucky to beat Watford because during the game it was Watford that had so many chances that they couldn't manage to beat Tottenham. So you know, Son's free kick was the only goal that to make Tottenham free get the 3 points and also be the top of the league because remember they've scored three and conceded none, so Tottenham are in the top of the league for now, just for now. So yeah, it actually went ended 1-0 Tottenham, so I get another point, which means I've got 3 points so far. And last and not least, we move on into the big game, Wolves against Manchester United. Now, for this game, I predicted a Manchester United win of 2-0, but the actual game ended 1-0 to Man United. And like I said, what Tottenham was so lucky that they beat Watford. The same situation happened to Man United. They were so lucky because the build up to the goal. Maybe I think that should have been a free kick because I think it was either Scott McTominay or Fred that maybe brought down Ruben Neves. So for this game, I don't think that should ended the Man United win, to be honest with you. But I still think that United will win because, like I said, even though this will be a tough game, I still believe that Manchester United will definitely win. And David De Gea, what a brilliant save, a double save to keep the clean sheet. So yeah, it was him and Mason Greenwood that got Manchester United the 3 points. So yeah, but Wolves disappointed because they had so many chances. Adama Traore as well did really well but couldn't manage to convert to a goal. The same with Mal Jimenez as well. So yeah, I really felt bad for Wolves. And I think Wolves after this game will be going, oh my days, we had so many chances. We could have beaten Manchester United, but unfortunately they couldn't. So yeah, that game ended 2-0, 1-0 to United. So out of 30 points, I've got 4 points. That means I didn't beat last week because last time I got 8 points and I couldn't manage to get more than 8 points in a match day three. So yeah, really unlucky. But hopefully this time I'll get more than 8 points this week. That is what I'm hoping for. More than 8 points because that's my target. I want to achieve that. So that is all my Premier League reviewing my Premier League predictions on match day three. So 4 points out of 30, which is it's not that bad, but could have been better, could have been better. Now let's move on into the Premier League predictions match day four, and it all starts tomorrow. So there's big games coming up, including the likes of Ronaldo potentially coming on from Manchester United, the Leicester vs Manchester City game, the rival between Leeds United and Liverpool. So yeah, looking forward to those games. So without further ado, let's start the Premier League predictions on match day four. The first game of the match day four is a London derby between Crystal Palace and Tottenham. Now, of course, Crystal Palace are winless. They've lost against Chelsea, they drew against West Ham, and they drew against Brentford. Whereas for Tottenham, won 3 games against Man City, Watford, and who else? Wolves, and they were 1-0 wins. No goals conceded and 3 goals scored, and they're 9 points, and they're on top of the league. For this game, even though that Tottenham don't really do well at Selhurst Park, getting a draw or maybe losing a game. For this game, I'm nothing seen but other than a Tottenham win of 1-0. I don't want to go for a 2-0, 3-0 win because it is Crystal Palace and it will cause, and they always play well when they face Tottenham at Selhurst Park. But for this game, I'm going to go for a Tottenham win of 1-0 because the likes of Harry Kane, Son scoring brilliant goals, So I don't see Crystal Palace winning this game. If they do draw, then yes, well done to them. But for this game, Tottenham win definitely of 1-0. So yeah, it's a London derby. I'm looking forward to that game, and I definitely think that Tottenham would definitely win off 1-0. That is what I think. If you guys don't agree, let me know in the comments down below. Would you go for a draw? Or would you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. But for this game tomorrow, Tottenham will definitely beat Crystal Palace 1-0. The next game, of course, is Watford against Wolves. Now, Watford, of course, won against Aston Villa in the opening day. They've lost against Brighton, then lost against Tottenham, and they were so unlucky not to beat Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Whereas for Wolves, they've lost 3 games. You know, the likes of Leicester City, Manchester United, and who else? Tottenham as well. They've conceded 3 goals and scored none. But this game tomorrow, I'm going for not other than a Wolves win of 2-0. I think Wolves will get the first 3 points of the season because for the past 3 games, the new manager used the same sort of lineup as Thomas Tuchel, which is 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, two left 2 wings and 1 striker. So yeah, and it really works with them. So it's so unlucky not to beat Leicester in the opening day, then Tottenham next, and then Manchester United. But I know this game, Wolves will definitely win. Even though Watford are unbeaten at home, for this game, I'm gonna go for a Wolves win of 2-0. Definitely win. Definitely what Wolves win of 2-0 because if they still lose, I think the new manager has to answer some questions because Wolves want to get back to the European places, and the only way to do that is to finish in the top 7 because of the Conference League being introduced this year. So, but for this game, Wolves will definitely win 2-0, and I can see Watford losing a home game for the very first time. So the next game, of course, is Brentford against Brighton. Now, of course, Brentford does really well at the Brentford Community Stadium, whereas for Brighton, they've uh, they've won against Burnley, and they've won against who else? Who else? I've completely forgotten. Watford, but they've lost against Everton. Whereas for Brentford, that their stadium is a hard place to go, really hard place to go, because the fans, the players, like Ivan Toney, the way they defend so well. So for this game, I'm going for a Brentford win of 2-0 against Brighton because I think they'll keep a clean sheet. The way Thomas Frank is using that same formation, 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, and 2 strikers. So yeah, when you know you're going 3 at the back, you are most likely to either keep a clean sheet or concede less. So I think Thomas Frank will still have a plan to beat Brighton tomorrow, and I believe Brentford will actually win. So for this game, I'm going to go for a Brentford win of 2-0 since they're playing in the community stadium. The next game, of course, is Arsenal against Norwich City. Now, I this game, I think Arsenal have to win against Norwich City because it's a battle in the relegation zone. Obviously, two teams are in the relegation zone. Both have the same goal difference, -9, the same point, 0, but Norwich have scored, but Arsenal don't. But for this game, Arsenal definitely have to beat Norwich City because the first 3 games before the international break was tough for them. But look at where Norwich City are. They are in 19th, yeah, 19th, and Arsenal always beat Norwich City at the Emirates. When it comes to the Carroll Road, sometimes they can struggle a bit, but since it's been playing at the Emirates at 3 p.m., they have to win because if they don't win, or if they either lose or get a draw, that is the most embarrassing thing because I cannot see a top 6 team losing to Norwich. Well, Man City did that 2 years ago. Um, yeah, they did that 2 years ago when they pull up a shot. But for this game, Arsenal They even though the first game at the Emirates this season they've lost to Chelsea. They will have to be Norwich City in order for Mikel Arteta to save his job. Otherwise, he has got to go, in my opinion, and he has to and Stan Kroenke has to bring in an experienced manager, not a manager that has never been a manager before, the likes of Arteta or Ryan Mason. They need to bring an experienced manager so that they can allow Arsenal to get back to where they are, which is at least competing for the top four and getting trophies. So yeah, so Mikel Arteta has to win that game in order to save his job. So for this game, 3-1 Norwich City. I mean, most of the Arsenal fans want to keep a clean sheet, but unfortunately, Norwich City will definitely score because Arsenal still cannot defend from set pieces or from corners. So yeah, I think Norwich City will win the likes of Timo Pukki, but Arsenal will get the first 3 points and first goals of the season because losing to Norwich or even getting the draw, wow, I don't see Mikel Arteta staying this season, in my opinion. That is my opinion. So yeah, my prediction is 3-1 to Arsenal. The next game, of course, which of course every single Manchester United fan is excited, is Man United against Newcastle at Old Trafford. And they are so happy to see CR7, aka Cristiano Ronaldo, returning back to Old Trafford after Real Madrid signed him from 2009, which is like 12 years ago. Yeah, Ronaldo is the greatest of all time when it comes to international football, his career, of course, he's the greatest of all time. You know, many people think it's Messi, but Ronaldo scored 111 goals in 180 appearances for Portugal. That is mad, you know, absolutely mad. Whereas Messi scored 75 goals for Argentina. You know, that's the difference between him and Ronaldo. So I think Ronaldo is the GOAT greatest of all time. Is still the greatest of all time. And I think Manchester United will be so happy here to see him. Obviously, he won't start because they signed him like before the international break. But when he comes on, my God, every single Man United fan at Old Trafford will stand up on their feet and cheering for Ronaldo. And I believe Ronaldo will score goals for Manchester United. And it's going to be a struggle now to see Romelu Lukaku getting the golden boot because because Man United signed for Manchester United. But if Lukaku can score more goals than Ronaldo, then I'll be very happy. But for this season, it's going to be a struggle. Really going to be a struggle. Whereas for Newcastle, no, still no wins for them. Still no wins. And yeah, for this game, as you can see on the screen, 4-0 to Manchester United. 4-0. I think Bruno Fernandes will score again this is, and I think when Ronaldo comes on, he will definitely score maybe twice for Manchester United. So yeah, 4-0 to Man United, you know. But imagine if Newcastle beat Manchester United. Oh my days. But I don't see that happening. I see not other than a Manchester United win of 4-0. And Manchester United fans, if you're watching this, I believe that Ronaldo will score and your team will get 3 points. So yeah, Manchester United 4, Newcastle 0 is my prediction in that game. Now we move on into Southampton against West Ham. Now, of course, my first thought is that it's going to be a draw because Southampton drawn against Aston Villa. I think, yeah. Um, I don't think they still managed to win the game as well. Whereas for West Ham, they've got still Mikel Antonio, George Bowen, and Declan Rice, who's been absolutely fantastic. And don't forget Saeed Berwamala too. For Southampton, Adam Armstrong is still doing and still scoring goals, but for this game, West Ham would definitely beat Southampton 2-1 because it's going to be a tough game, but I see West Ham just nicking this game to a win because they're still unbeaten, you know, still unbeaten. Before they faced Crystal Palace, they were top of the league. They were on top of the league. So yeah, for West Ham, they will definitely beat Southampton 2-1. So yeah, that is my prediction. Don't know what you guys think, but West Ham will definitely beat Southampton 2-1. Now we move on into the game of the weekend, which is of course Leicester City versus Manchester City. Now I've heard that that the second choice goalkeeper has got COVID, whereas Gabriel Jesus and excuse me, and Emerson is out because of the Brazilian versus Argentina game. Eight players are not going to play the Premier League this season because of what happened during the international break between Brazil and Argentina. You know, the new goalkeeper, I can't pronounce his name properly. It's going to start for Manchester City, you know. And for whereas for Leicester City, you know, they still got Jamie Vardy, Madison, Kasper Schmeichel, you know, and the fans look really good. So my first thought is that, you know what, I think Leicester City will win, but guess what? When Manchester City don't have any strikers and Ederson is still out, they still manage to break these teams down. You know, 10 goals in the last three matches, and they've only conceded one. So for this game, I'm gonna go for 2-1 Leicester City. Sorry, Manchester City. Like I said, going to the King Power Stadium is tough, really, really tough. But Man City, they always beat Leicester City at the King Power. The last time Leicester City beat Manchester City in the King Power was 5 years ago in 2016 when they beat them 2-1. So yeah, that's the last time. But for this game, I'm going for excuse me, of a Manchester City win of 2-1. It will be close. It will definitely be close, but Man City will definitely nick 3 points. Now we move on into Chelsea. My Chelsea, of course, a Chelsea fan against Aston Villa. Now Aston Villa are in the same situation because Emi Martinez is gone, and so is Emi Buendia as well. Whereas for Chelsea, Thiago Silva isn't allowed to play because he's a Brazilian. But I'm not sure if he's ever played for Brazil during that international game. If he hasn't, then why? Why suspend him? You only suspend the people who played in that game during the fight, but don't suspend someone who wasn't part of that fight. So I really, really don't get it. I really don't get it. But yeah, for this game. I think I've heard that Romelu Lukaku is fit after he got injured for Belgium, but Kante, Pulisic, and who else? Um, James. No, Kante and Pulisic have an injury. Reece James, of course, is bad because he got a red card against Liverpool, which, of course, that should have never happened from Anthony Taylor. But yeah, Chelsea have still got a better squad than Aston Villa. So missing Martinez is going to be a real struggle for Aston Villa. Real struggle for this game. I'm going other than Chelsea win of 3-0. I believe we'll get 3 points, a clean sheet, and of course, since Aspilicueta is playing as the right wing back, I think Trevor Chalobah will start because of Reece James um, not suspended in the next 3 games. So yeah, so for this game, Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0. That is my prediction. Now I've got to be quick because I've got busy stuff to do later today. But let's move on into also part of the big game and also the rivalry between Leeds United and Liverpool. Now my first thought is that I think perhaps this game could be a draw because whenever Leeds United face the top six at Ellen Road, it's always a draw. Well, they beat I mean, I'm trying to say they are unbeaten against the big six, against the top six team. They've won. They've won against Tottenham. They drew against Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. You know, my first one is that should I predict a draw? But I'm thinking no because Liverpool, the way they dominate us in the second half when we're down to 10 men, shows you everything. Tells you everything. But yeah, Leeds United. Still no wins for Leeds United, and I think this time I think Liverpool can actually win at Ellen Road, for the very first time. You know, because last season they drew, but this season I can see a Liverpool win of 2-0. I think maybe Alisson Becker might not be the goalkeeper, so I'm not sure who's the second goalkeeper for Liverpool, but Liverpool, and also Firmino as well. But Liverpool, no matter what players are out, they're still strong. The likes of Diego Jota, Mane, Salah, um, um, Elliot, Virgil van Dijk, all these type of players are doing really well. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna go for a Liverpool win of 2-0. You know, I can see this game, Liverpool getting the 3 points for this game. And last and not least, Everton against Burnley. Now, of course, the last time excuse me, the last time these two met last season, Burnley beat them 2-0 with an excellent goal from I can't remember that player's name, but yeah, brilliant goal from that player. But Burnley, they're in a tough situation right now. Still no wins. Lost against Brighton, lost against Liverpool, and drew against Leeds. Whereas for Everton, they've won against Southampton, drew against Leeds, and lost and won against Brighton. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this game, I think Burnley will struggle again because Everton, they've signed Andy Townsend from Crystal Palace, of course. I don't think Richarlison is going to play because he's suspended because he's a Brazilian. But I think James Rodriguez, I'm not sure what's happened to him, but Richarlison, no, sorry, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still scoring goals for Everton. Even though he didn't play for England, for Everton, he does really well playing as a striker. So for this game, I'm going for Everton win of 2-0 against Burnley. That is my prediction. But what do you guys think? Let me know if you agree with that one, or you rather go for a Burnley win because the way they're playing. Burnley had the chance to win the first game against Leech United, but unfortunately they just couldn't convert the chances. They really couldn't, really couldn't. But this game they were strong against Everton, like I said. So I'm going for an Everton win of 2-0. And that's it, guys. That is the end of my Premier League predictions match day 4. I want to say thank you so much to everybody who watched this video. If you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that I never miss any of my content. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for a match preview for Chelsea against Aston Villa. Looking forward to that game. Hopefully Chelsea will win 3-0 against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge, and hopefully we'll get a 3 points, like we should have got started against Liverpool. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Look after yourselves, take care, and as always, up the Chelsea.